jungle from our side is Gragas. And enemy jungler, ally jungler. It is Ramos. So here we kind of want us to go for the same thing once again. So let's copy paste this here too. So what about Gragas? What trades?
Short burst trades.
Alright, so short burst trades. Can he go for anything else? Is there any other alternative? Alternative.
I don't think so. That's how Gragas usually ganks.
I mean,
You
not
can go
just
for
about
extended
ganks,
trade.
simply about the champion, if that makes sense.
Oh.
That doesn't matter if it's, in this case, if it's jungle or not.
I don't know what else to add.
What about poke trades with his Q? Because if he will not be able to go in, right? Is there anything else left for him to do?
Yeah, he can just throw his Q.
Right.
Under tower or something.
Correct. Abilities. Q is AoE damage slow, right? W AoE damage self heal. E AoE stun damage AoE, so E dash AoE stun damage, right? And R is AoE damage knockback. Now, what about the combos?
E auto attack Q, I think. No. E W auto attack. It's
so, don't you think W needs to be used before he goes in? Because it has an animation, it's not instant.
Yeah, probably. I don't play him, but so I'm not sure how what his combos.
So usually he wants to go for W, which is the empowered auto attack, right?
Yeah.
W, and then he usually goes for E into Q, throwing Q while traveling with his E, then auto, and that's usually it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's possible to go for E plus Q or something like that, but it's kind of the same thing with like before. It's a variation of this combo. It's nothing too different. Does that make sense? But usually this is what he goes for. Now, what about here? Ramos ideally wants to go for what trades?
For extended trades?
Correct. Very nice. Long extended trades. Do you think he can go for any other kind of trades? Do you think they are viable? Short burst or poke?
He can't poke. Short trades? I don't think so. He doesn't benefit.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm impressed. Very good.
Why are you?
Well, because usually people will say he can go for short burst trades, but the thing with Ramos is like if he goes in, he goes in. Like either he does or he doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So up to this point, I have not had such an answer. I was expecting for you. Because you will be surprised how many people don't really get to make a game plan, and they don't really get to think about those kind of questions to themselves. If that makes sense. Of course, this comes down to champion knowledge as well, right? Like that's why we break down those things like that, because those are the most important.
Yeah, I don't break down champions when I see champion select. Just use
it's not exactly about breaking them down, but knowing what exactly they do. In this case, we get to break it down this way, so things can make sense.
Yeah, I usually just use 6 cents because I know what's gonna happen and stuff, but I don't really think in depth about such things.
Yeah, it's just about knowing what exactly you are going up against, right?
Yeah.
So ideally wants to go for long extended trades. Q is damage movement speed boost, right?
Mhm.
W self slow damage resistances, correct?
Yeah.
E taunt. R unstoppable dash AoE damage slow. If I'm not mistaken, he does not knock up
That I don't remember.
with his ultimate. Just to make sure. Yeah, so immune to crowd control, leaps. Okay, let's make the leap here.
Mhm.
Oh, knock up. Yeah, if they're in the middle.
Oh, it is a knockup.
Yes. Knock up. Right? And that is pretty much it. Slow, this and that. Perfect. Good. And oops. So what will the usual combo be from Ravos?
Q, W, E. That's all he can do, basically.
Are you sure W before E or E before W?
I mean, first you have to increase your resistances, then you have to taunt.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Give me a second, just to pick up my dog because oops,
Okay.
she's on my legs and I hit her by mistake. Lily, stój tam. Give me a second.
Okay.
She's really stubborn. Stój tam. Ligo. Ne. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to stay. Anyways. Okay. So in this case, let's go for the following scenario. Okay. On bot lane,
Okay.
a completely fair 3 versus 3. Who do you think wins and why?
It's kind of hard to tell because we win in extended trades, but then again, enemy team has Rammus who also wants to go for extended trades. So kind of feels even in a sense.
Mm,
I mean, if we had Rammus instead of Gragas, then we would win. But this scenario is a bit mixed up.
mm-hmm. So who do you think wins in this case?
Mm. Probably enemy would still win because Rammus is too tanky and he can go on until the team fight is over.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Maybe that you would like add to this?
Um, I don't know what else to add. I mean, he can counter jungle.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no. We're not talking about content jungle, my friend. We are talking about
oh,
only the 3v3 on bot lane,
oh,
right? Like,
then I don't know what else to add.
okay. So the answer that you gave is correct, but the explanation was not that much. So the reason why they get to win the fair 3v3 on bot lane is because Ramos is gonna be able to, like, the once he gets to pull off the E,
Mhm.
Look at the combo. E into Q, CC chain, and a bunch of
Oh,
damage on one target.
oh, that's fine. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay? So this is the reason as to why they win that. And in this case, unfortunately, we don't really have very good kiting tools. If you would be, let's say, Thresh in this case, or someone
Mhm.
like that, it was going to be pretty doable, I would say, to kite them. Does that make sense? Because
Mhm.
Ramos will try to come close to you with his Q, and then you use E on him or Q, and you get to kite him. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But in
Yeah.
this case, because you play Soraka, maybe you can use your E, but then if he gets shielded by Morgana, then you won't be able to stop him from his Q. Does that make
Oh
sense?
yeah. I forgot to mention. Uh, Rammus can't really gank our lane because I have my E.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when he starts spinning, I can cancel his spin at any time.
Yes, correct. Eventually, they can adapt a bit more to it, and Morgana can give him a shield before he completely gets in range for you to
Yeah,
use E
well,
on him.
such scenarios never happen in real game.
Yeah, it's just a possibility, right? I'm just saying it's just a possibility. And now it's not
Yeah.
just about early game, but we're talking like in general. You guys being whatever level and having all of the abilities up, all three abilities. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah,
Then
makes
the
sense.
adaptations, when ultimates get to be presented in the picture, is very small, like the adjustments. Make sense?
Hmm.
But when you know like 89% of the thing, it's what you need. So yeah, this is the main reasons to why in this case we cannot really win those 3v3s. Talking about fair 3v3s, right?
Yeah.
Now if you'll be able to stop him from his spinning with his Q, then things get to change. And damage will get to be the following. You'll be able to poke him with Q. Zaya will be able to just use everything on him, whatever she has. And Gragas will be able to go for the Q, because if he goes for E or for W, he just dies afterwards, right?
Mm.
Because he'll be taunted and it's gonna GG for him.
With Rammus, it's more like a coin flip. If he has a shield, he will win. If he doesn't get shield, he gets
Mm-hmm.
Soraka's Eve, and
And it's like even
they
if
will
he
lose.
will not have the shield and you'll cancel his Q, we
He can still
can.
walk.
Yeah, he can walk, but he will get kited to some extent. Not kited very well or much, but he will get kited. But then it will not really make a lot of sense to use a lot of resources on the Ramos. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because
Like,
lots of
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like you will ideally look to either kill this guy or Morgana because they will take less time, so it will be more efficient this way. Make sense?
yeah, but yep.
Right. So about 3v3, the first 3v3, this is how it looks like. Now about any other kind of scenario, maybe if he gets to gank first, or if you guys maybe make a boost trap or something like that, things wouldn't really change that much as well. It's going to be the same thing. We will not like to get close to Ramos or to use our builds on him just because it will not make any sense. Right? So
Mhm.
in this particular case, 3v3s is not something that you and your teammates will really be looking to go for. Does that make sense? You would like
Yeah,
to just simply avoid that. Make sense?
yeah, makes sense.
Right. Now, since 3v3s, we got to figure them out. Let's go for the 3v2. So the gank setup from our side. Okay?
Okay.
So, Zaya, you, and Gragas. Right? Oops. Ganking those two guys. Okay? If you're serious about ranking up and feel stuck, forgivengbloodcoaching.com is the right place for you. You can be assured with high quality coaching, many options to choose from, flexible work hours, and because we believe in what we do, we offer a money back guarantee if you fail to reach your goals while actively following our guidance. Don't believe me? Check out the results and what our students have to say. So what are you waiting for? Try this free by clicking the link in the description below and get the rank you've always been dreaming of.
Can you
Right?
draw on the minimap like
Ah, you would like me to draw it here? Sure, no problem.
yeah, like a first letter, just No need to
Oh.
write a name.
Okay, so let's
So I
go.
can, so I can have an idea basically.
So let's go for Zaya, for example. Here, Soraka, and let's say G for Gragas here.
Mm-hmm.
And here we're gonna have Lucian, and we're gonna have Morgana. So for the gank setup, where would you like the wave to be at ideally? Close to your side, or like let's say on your side of the lane, to the on the middle of the lane, or on their side of the lane. This is going to be 1, 2, and 3.
Two, two and three are fine. I mean, no, one and two are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Three is a bit harder to pull off.
What about anything in here? Would you be looking for something in here? Ideally? Ideally we're talking about, right? I'm emphasizing that.
No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay, perfect. So we will be looking for, so this will be not be good. This will be good. This will be even better, right? So 2 ticks in this
Mm-hmm.
case. And anything in here is going to be just something that we'll be looking for again. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now, from those two guys, who would you be focusing first? Or like who is going to be your highest priority target, let's call it. Okay? Is it going to be Lucian or is it going to be Morgana? And why?
I think Lucian because he deals damage. He can go for trades. I
Okay,
mean,
what if his E is up? Is he going to
then
be an easy target or is he going to be a more difficult target?
more difficult, of course.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the thing that you said about the damage is very valid, right?
Mm.
Okay, so if his E is going to be up, he's going to be a more difficult target to kill. Do you think if his E is going to be up, he's going to be more difficult target to kill compared to Morgana? Or do you think Morgana is going to be easier to kill if his E is going to be up?
Morgana probably gonna be easier
Okay.
in that case.
So in this case, what is the conclusion about the target priority?
To focus Morgana if he is still up.
Mm-hmm. And what else? And to focus who if X ability is
What?
down? Okay, so you said to focus like we'll focus Morgana if Lucian E is going to be up, right?
Yeah.
What about if
Yep.
Lucian E is going to be down? Will we still focus Morgana or will we go for Lucian?
No, go for Lucian in that case.
Okay, very nice, right? So in
And also
general,
you have to put in consideration of Morgana's E. She can use Black Shield.
it wouldn't really matter that much in this case because like 1 to 2 abilities and the shield goes down, but she doesn't have any escapes. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Any mobility spells, right?
Yeah, but
Like for example, you can't stop. Like this is the majority of the time, you can't stop Lucian's E. Does that make sense?
yeah, makes
Like
sense.
maybe now if you going to be right on top of him and you have a CC ability and you time it properly, sure, right? But this doesn't happen very often. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So if Lucian is going to be up, we go for Morgana. If Lucian is going to be down, we go for Lucian. Right? That's the general rule. What abilities are going to be an issue when we will be going for the gank? Talking about from those two guys, right?
Morgana's E and Lucian's E.
Anything else? Okay, so this is correct. And this is correct. Anything else?
And Morgana's Q.
Perfect. Right? So we care about those three abilities. If we had to rank them from 1 to most important and list and 3 the least important, which one, like how would you rank them? 1, 2, and 3. 1 is the most important, 3 is the least important.
I think Morgana's Q is the most important. If she lands a Q, then
so this
the
is
gank
1.
gets fucked.
Which ability is going to be 2?
Lucian's E, I think.
Perfect. Very
He
nice.
can run away.
And
Yep.
then this is going to be 3, right? So that's
Yep.
how you would like to think about it regarding the abilities that you want to be careful about, right? When we are going to be going for the gank. Does that make sense as well?
Yep.
Perfect. So that's mainly what we care about. Now, the abilities that we need to land, I mean, they are fairly straightforward, right? Like you need to hit your Q for the slow, in this case. You need to hit the Q for the slow. You need to hit E for the silence and potentially root. And anything else afterwards, you can't really control from your teammates. Like Zaya ideally wants to hit the E, obviously, right? So she can get the CC, the root. And Gragas wants to ideally hit his Q and his E. Make sense?
Yep.
Right? So that is pretty much it. So we want the wave to be a quick conclusion. So we want the wave to be between 1 and 2, ideally at 1, right? Or simply somewhere in between 1 and 2. We need to be careful about Morgana Q, Lucian E, and Morgana E, right? Just ranking them like that. We want to prioritize Morgana when Lucian E is going to be down, and when Lucian E is going to be up, and when Lucian E is going to be down, we want to prioritize Lucian, right?
Yep.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Right. So this is the whole conclusion of the gang setup, pretty much. Now, what about now us switching the roles? So Lucian, Morgana, Ramus, and here we're gonna have Zaya and you. Right? So let's do the same things again. Where do you think they want the waves to to be at? They want to have the wave at 1, 2, or 3.
1 and 2.
Okay, so they want once again the wave to be in between 1 and 2 for them, right?
Yep. Yep.
What abilities do they need to be careful about from you and Zaya? What is like a big danger for them that will make the gank not work out?
My E is the most threatening.
Okay. Would you be sure that it is the E since it is very small?
It stops his Q, which can basically screw up the whole gank setup.
So let's say then it is going to be your E. And any other ability?
Does Zaya's W give her movement speed?
I mean, they can't really stop this. Or like dodge it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, and Soraka's Q can also be.
What about Zaya's E? Because it brings CC. AKA the feathers. They need to be careful for the feathers.
Oh, yeah. Her passive, more like.
Yes. I mean, what I'm saying is because, I mean, you can put the feathers down, but if you don't use E, it's what.
Yeah, I mean, she only uses her E when she wants to trade. I mean, usually when you gank, you don't see that stuff. You don't see.
Yeah, it's just something that they need to keep in mind because her E brings CC, which is going to make the gank more difficult. Does it make sense?
I didn't even think about it because I don't see it in game.
Gotcha. It's just something that we need to keep in mind and to just know, okay, like this is usually how this goes. If that makes sense. Yeah, now, if it goes a bit more on the unusual way, then you will know, okay, like this guy, for example, doesn't really know what he does. Like if you know this, that Zaya can utilize her E for you guys to escape from a gank, this is going to be something very important because if your teammate doesn't really get to realize that, then you can point this out to him. Does it make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? You can let him know, hey, when we get to push, for example, and get closer to their side, be a bit more careful with how you use your E. Because if they gank us, we can stop them with your E. For example. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's why it is important for you to know how things are supposed to go like, because then you know what you can be expecting. And then if you see people doing something else, then you know, okay, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing, so let me exploit that, or let me fix that if it is going to be a teammate that doesn't do the right thing that he's supposed to be doing, right? You would like to let him know so he can fix that. And if it's going to be an enemy, you can be looking to exploit that. To be like, oh, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's doing A when he's supposed to do B. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? That is pretty much it about it. And yeah, I mean, that is it. Actually, no, that is not it. What the fuck am I talking about? We didn't talk about their abilities. So what do they want to hit ideally to, or like to land to make the gang successful?
Morgana's Q, obviously, that's the biggest threat.
Morgana Q.
Like she lands her Q and we're fucked.
Okay, so Morgana Q. Anything else?
From support and ADC side, I don't know. They can't do anything else. I mean, Lucian can go in with his E. I guess that's a
Do
threat.
you forget about this guy?
Oh, I thought you were talking about only ADC and support.
In this case, it is a 3v2, right?
Oh,
We're talking
okay.
about the gang setup scenario from both sides, and now we are on their side.
You said from their side. I mean,
yeah, just their side, like enemy team.
Oh, okay. And from junglers, the Q is the biggest threat. Ramesses Q.
Is it his Q or is it his E? Like, let's say he hits you, but his E is down. Does it really matter if he hits you that much? If his E is down?
No.
So then which ability is more important, Q or E?
E is more important. But I mean, he has to have both of them. I mean, he has no...
Of course. Like, we can rank it then this way, like, as to E is number 1 and Q is number 2, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just the first thing that comes to mind, it's like, of course, that's Q, but yeah, his E is what makes it the most threatening.
Q is basically like an enhancement, like we said before.
Yeah.
Right? And that's pretty much it. Did this make sense as well?
Yep.
Perfect.
Do I have to mentally break down every game when I go to a champ select?
You don't need to do it like fully this way. It will be nice. Let's do it for the next lesson. Let's do a small commentary so I can showcase you how exactly I'm thinking about all of those things. Will that be okay with you? Right? Because if I get to explain it to you right now, it will not be that accurate, if that makes sense. Because it's not like in the game in the moment.
Okay, makes sense.
Ally team. Moving too fast, I'm moving this.